learned from digging into it at the granular level and what the understanding of the industry is are still vastly different. And I just, there's some things on its infrastructure and it's on its intended purposes and how it's supposed to be used. And like you said, what's included in one line item, what's not. And I've learned enough about that I've championed that if you're going to use this software, learn it and use it the right way. Because I'm like you, I want restoration contractors to be profitable because I believe we help homeowners, we help the insured. And the only way we can continue to do that is to remain or become more profitable so that we can stay open. And there's this, I see lack of understanding leads to doing bad work from having to cut corners and not hiring the right people, therefore doing bad work and sometimes making some terrible moral decisions. So it's not Xactimate's fault. I think it's incredible software. I mean, there's nothing else like it as far as I know. And I just, how it's not understood very well, maybe from its complexity. And then there's a little bit of me as the contrarian, as the rebel, that I don't feel like Xactimate in my mind has done a great job of sharing its use case and its best practices and things. And I just, that's where I get a little bit in the weeds about it, but we can talk about that a little bit later. But I know you're great at it. Andy, who's a friend of yours, Andy McCabe. I mean, a lot of good friends of mine. Ben Justinson has done great things traveling this country. There's so many of you that are pouring in education. And for that, I'm a big fan. When I see people post online saying, I can't charge for this. Carrier told me, if I'm over Xactimate, then I'm blacklisted. That's not how it's intended to be used. And you're just underinformed. And therefore you're having to believe what you're hearing. But that's where the education comes in. So enough about that. Again, I wanted to ask you, I wrote a few points down here because if I don't, we could sit here and talk losses all day. Let me ask you this.
That's true.
Here's a good question. What's the largest Xactimate invoice you've ever written yourself?
So we were hired by actually an adjuster who was overwhelmed in Houston when they had the big hurricane. I don't know why. Is it Harvey? Like 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were working in a huge a suburb, but where there's huge homes. Yeah. And unfortunately it was, FEMA flood claims. So they had a cap on what they were paying out, but 2.5 million was some of the estimates we were writing. I mean, things I'd never seen before. I had to learn what judges panels are. Like the panel, it was amazing, but they had these big curved staircases and marble in the bathrooms and all the accoutrement. And they were just totaled. Like, it was so sad and awful, and really heartbreaking. But anyways, yeah, we did about 3 or 4 of those, helped her sketch them and then get all the line items added, and built out those kitchens, those all the custom cabinets and all the stuff. And a lot of bid items go into those kinds of homes too, because like a chandelier, it's like Xactimate pricing isn't going to come up to that. So, we had to do some research. So that was a big one. Also, I kind of started dabbling in this industry whenever I was teaching Xactimate. I also got my adjuster's license and I did contents claims. So there was a pastor whose basement got flooded and they stored all of their suits and dresses and the wife's dresses and all the shoes in their basement. So I had to go like shopping online for like Manolo Blahnik, $3,000 shoes. And then that was a big one. I don't remember